this is a recurring theme in the Trump White House. These creepy ass North Korea style cabinet meetings where the secretaries and the cabinet officials down the line, instead of doing what happens in a normal presidential administration where they say, Mr. President, here at the Department of the Interior, we've been doing X, Y, and Z. Here at the Department of Energy, we're trying to push forward these initiatives, doing so on, so forth. It's not like that. They eventually get there. But in the beginning, it is just a minute and a half of them slobbing Trump's knob. And this happened in his first administration, and it's happening in this one. I don't know how anyone puts up with it, but here we go. That's a little clip.
It's a president's past. And let's be honest, most of them have been placeholders. They've been people who've allowed their staff to sign executive orders with an auto pen instead of men of action. And the reason the media attacks this administration as chaotic is because the president is solving the problems the American people set about to solve. He's actually doing the things that he promised that he would do. And Mr. President, it's been an honor to be part of it for the past 100 days.
Mr. President, the last 4 years, the world experienced a total lack of zero leadership under Biden. And then we've had 100 days of your leadership with respect, with strength.
President Trump, in your first term, when I had a chance to work with you as governor, you were courageous. The thing that's empowering this amazing group of people around this table, and you've probably assembled the greatest cabinet ever, is that this time you're not just courageous, you're actually fearless. And it's your fearlessness to take on the issues that other presidents would not touch, whether it's the work that we're doing with successfully streamlining and right-sizing government, or whether it's taking on the issues at the border, or whether it's embracing the power we need to win the arms race. You're fearlessly doing that, and that creates it just all of us can sprint because you're running ahead.
President, your first 100 days has far exceeded that of any other presidency in this country, ever. Never seen anything like it. Thank you.
Okay, I want to get EK's thoughts on this first, but I also want to show something that I didn't notice until I put this clip together here. There's MAGA hats around the table. Why?
Gulf of America hats.
Oh, Gulf of America hats.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're going on the store soon, TJ. That's
oh my God. It's so fucking tech. All right, I'll shut up. EK, what are your thoughts on here?
God, it's just sickening, man. It's like, good God, like how fragile is your ego? Like like also just like looking at Marco Rubio, probably thinking he was gonna get up to some like Henry Kissinger shit. It's like, oh, I'm gonna drop bombs in so many.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Like, and then like, sign that deal with the devil, and it's like, oh, this is your Secretary of Stateship, sir. It's but fuck Marco Rubio, anyway. But like, yeah, it's just like, dude, like nobody cares. Nobody. Okay, I take it back. One person cares.
One person cares. The only person who matters actually cares, and so yeah, they go through with it.
Yeah, it's just you don't want to see that, man. You want people in the cabinet that are like maybe gonna challenge him on something, make him think about something, like maybe have him weigh like his decisions, like not just like, oh, like let me get that dick right now.
Let me get that dick. I don't even need them to challenge him. Just brief what you've been doing as a cabinet official. That's why you're there, right? You're there to talk about what your department is doing. I've never seen, you see this in like cartoons where the glorious leader is forcing his subjects to kiss his ass at time after time. And like the Marco Rubio thing is actually really funny. That say what you want about Marco Rubio, he's a legitimate politician. He has goals and thoughts and will and desire and aspirations, and now he's lumped in with everyone else doing nothing but serving Trump's will. By the way, Marco Rubio, terrible person. Wasn't he confirmed like 96-0 in the Senate, something like that? I want to keep that in mind for everybody. It talks about how, well, the Democrats are obviously fighting for us. They confirmed Marco Rubio unanimously, pretty much. Go ahead, John. What are you going to say?
I think so. He also has like 4 jobs in the cabinet now since Mike Walls was ousted as national security.
We didn't even bring up Mike Walls. We didn't even bring that up.
We might not even get to that today.
Yeah.
But it's very funny that the one Hispanic guy in his cabinet has all of these jobs. It's very, very funny. And guys, like I get accused of bias a lot. I'm sure you guys do too. And it's true. I don't say many kind things about Republicans, about Trump's cabinet, but I will say this, TJ. I was utterly impressed with how clear they were able to speak with Trump's dick so far down.
Yeah, you're incredible.
That was very, very impressive.
Credit where credit's due.
It's not easy to do, guys. Like that takes a lot of practice. Kyle and Colby pointed this out in the comments here. We aren't the only people saying this. Ann Coulter.
Oh no.
Said, would it be possible to have a cabinet meeting without the Kim Jong-il style tributes? When you lost Ann Coulter, you know it's fucking bad. Like it is bad. How you said it right, TJ. Like this is like the satirical children's movie shit that you like. Oh, this is a terrible tyrant that forces everyone to suck up to him. That is exactly how you would script it, and people are watching it, and they're just shoving the dick down their throat too.
Oh God, yeah. I'm glad to see that Ann Coulter said that too. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's just obvious. Anyone who isn't trying to kiss Trump's ass has no choice but to admit this. That, in fact, it's the only comparison that comes to mind, or at least the first one that comes to mind. It reminds me, Christopher Hitchens went to North Korea. He wrote about it, and he said that when I went to North Korea, I promised myself when I wrote my article, I was not going to mention 1984 because it'd be too hacky and lame and predictable. And he got there and said, I have no choice. I have to mention 1984. There's nothing else actually compares to this. I don't know. I don't know how you have the dignity, the lack of dignity to do something like that. I just don't know. Like if you're, I'm being maybe chauvinist here. I don't know. But if you're a married man and you do this, how do you go home to your wife that night and still proclaim yourself to be the man in this partnership? Like, how do you do that? Right? I don't get it. I don't understand. It's, you know what? When Donald Trump called Ted Cruz's wife ugly, and Ted Cruz said, I can't believe he did this. I'm going to stand up for my wife. Within months, he's phone banking for Donald Trump. He's telling everyone how great Donald Trump was. Whenever I think about getting involved in politics, I see stuff like that. I said, wow, you really have to sell all of your dignity to succeed in politics. I can't do that. That's not going to happen. There's no chance I could ever do anything like that. But power can't be that tempting to debase yourself in that manner. One thing, do you guys have anything else wanted to add? Because I had another clip I wanted to share here.
We can move on to the next one, TJ.
On the subject of 1984, I do want to like the chocolate ration part where like they announced that they raised the chocolate ration, and then I forget the main character's name. He's like, oh, but they just reduced the chocolate ration like 2 weeks ago. Eventually, at some point, the stock market is going to turn again, like, and something's going to grow, like maybe just a tad bit, and it's going to be the exact same thing where the people celebrate the raise in the chocolate ration, even though it's like way fucked up, like way lower than what it was. Guarantee you, like probably about 2 weeks ish from now, guarantee something like that is going to happen.
I've mentioned this too. Winston Smith is the 1984 character,
Yeah.
And, but I've mentioned this that with gas prices, because gas prices are the North Star for the Republicans, because they talk about gas was $1.55 when Trump was in office or something, not remembering that the reason gas was so low is because we had like 14% unemployment or something. It costs more for oil companies to store the gas than actually, sell it and everything. And yeah, the economy was in shambles, so the gas prices were really low. But all they remember was the gas prices are low. The same thing is going to happen. Gas prices are going to fall due to all of this, and they're going to say, well, look at that. The gas prices are low. Looks like Trump's doing something good. You can't win with these folks. But have you guys seen the fact that the White House has been doing these special meetings with MAGA influencers outside of the White House press corps? They started at first. The first one I saw was Tim Pool, and Tim Pool showed up at the White House press corps to ask questions. In fact, here's the clip of it right here. So I think Tim Pool's the first one I have up.
Many of these organizations that are represented in this room have marched in lockstep on false narratives, such as the Very Fine People hoax, the Covington smear, and now what's being called the Maryland Man hoax, where an MS-13 gang member adjudicated by 2 different judges, I believe, is just simply being referred to as a Maryland Man over and over again. Now, in an effort from the White House to expand access to new companies, you've created this new media seat. So I'm wondering if you can comment on, following this expansion, you've had numerous outlets disparage the companies that you've had sit here, as well as the reporters. I'm wondering if you can comment on the unprofessional behavior, as well as elaborate if there's any plans to expand access to new companies.
All right, hard-hitting journalism there by Tim Pool. Have you seen this, John? Have you run across the fact that they've been doing this?
I've run across it, and like this is what I'm saying. Like, if the legacy media outlets actually all bonded together and refused to acknowledge any respect for what he's saying, this is what we will end up with, and that just isn't going to sell to the American people. Like it just isn't. Like these people are very influential in their own spheres, but people don't fucking like them. People do not like Tim Pool. Like he obviously has a fan base. He's got a larger following than I do. You know, all respect for that, bro. Congratulations on the hundreds of thousands of dollars you got paid by Russia to spend their propaganda. But like, people don't like him. People aren't gonna like just sit around and be like, yeah, that makes sense. That works. No, it's not gonna work. Just let them keep having this rope to hang themselves with, is what I say about it. They had a fucking the guy who was spreading child porn on fucking Twitter in the fucking White House press room the other day. You see that? I forget what his name was.
Oh, I'll have to check that one. I have more, but I don't know if he's included here. What do you think, EK, when you saw that?
I mean, like, it's just like one step down from OAN.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
and OAN's already there, so yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, I saw the briefings, you know, during the last presidency where they would ask like the most ridiculous softball questions. So it's just more of that. And like, I think they have seen the influence that these Republican influencers have, you know, so they want to like bring that in and see if they can, you know, take any advantage of that. I mean, it was very, very successful for Trump.
It was
during his run for the president. And you also saw the Democrats do, you know, sort of the same. They didn't bring them into the briefing room and like let them ask questions, but you did see them try to embrace some of the media with like different influencers. You saw people going out, you know, to the White House, meeting Biden and, you know, helping out with it. So it's like it, I think also like had, you know, Harris won, we might see something like that in the White House as well, or something very close to what we're seeing right now with them. Like at the same time, like those right-wing media like conglomerations like on the internet, like Tim Pool and like the Daily Wire and all that, like their numbers are dropping because like people just don't really want to fuck with politics like that. Like anyway, they want to just talk about regular ass issues, like, and like they don't necessarily want a right-wing spin on it, but the people that are doing like the pop culture, comedy, like I'm just doing whatever stuff, like tend to have a right-wing slant to that. So like I do think there needs to be a left-wing slant like of like doing the exact same pop culture, comedy, sports talk, whatever stuff. But like, yeah, I don't necessarily think there's anything odd about this. I think that's just the natural progression of where we were going as far as how our country's media is set up right now.
So I do think it's odd. I do, because you're right. There have always been friendly networks or sympathetic reporters or whatever, you know, your Foxes, your MSNBCs, to whatever administration. But this is just so blatant. This is like, it's not even high. They don't even pretend otherwise. Now, the Tim Pool example in specific, when I heard Tim Pool's question, I don't know if you guys got this vibe, but my immediate thought was Tim Pool did not write that question. That was a question directly from Donald Trump. It sounded like Donald Trump. You had the what did he say? The Russia hoax. Yeah, he was talking about all these hoaxes and the Covington smear, and now what people are calling the Maryland man hoax. People are not calling it that. I've never heard that in my life. Tim Pool is the only person I've ever heard say that. So my suspicion was, they give Tim Pool a card. Hey, memorize this question and ask us. My suspicion was confirmed, I think, when I saw this next video. I don't know who this guy is. These next two guys, I don't know their names. But, yeah, I'll just play it.
Thank you for giving
me this is the guy. This is the guy that showed the kitty.
Oh, that's it?
American people. Speaking of, I wanted to reference the election integrity. A lot of people in America are question if there's any possibility that we could see further investigations for anyone that could have violated our election integrity rights. And more importantly, so is there any possibility for names such as Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rodham Clinton to ever just possibly get?
I'm going to pause it right there because that's when I knew. That's when I knew it. I said, I already knew, but him saying Barack Hussein Obama, not weird. Hillary Rodham Clinton. He did not know how to pronounce Rodham, meaning someone wrote it down, he read it, and then regurgitated it. That's when I knew. I said, okay, yeah, these questions are definitely being staged. So I'm going to finish this up.
Investigated for any of these, questions from the American people, any of the wrongdoings they might have done.
Well, it's refreshing to actually hear a question on election integrity because the legacy media would never ask such a question. They're so out of touch with where the American people are on this.
I was wondering if you didn't.
Caroline Leavitt is so great. She is so great. She does so well at this job. She might be my favorite White House press secretary. Justin, you know how in Star Wars the Emperor is one of people's favorite characters because he's just in love with being evil. That's Caroline Leavitt for me. She loves it. She loves every part of her job. And I was going to mention, I actually wrote it down, EK, but you brought it up first, that I do kind of like this idea they have of bringing in influencers to ask questions because, hey, folks, that could be us one day. That could be us in the White House one day. So, yeah, although I couldn't imagine us regurgitating a question in the White House. No, why bother asking the question if that's going to happen there? But what are your thoughts on this, EK?
Yeah, it's just theater work. Like it's all it is. It's just pure theater work. It's like, yo, let me ask a question that like was definitely written for me, just so that the press secretary is like, oh, this is such a great question that you'll never hear on the mainstream media. Like, come on. You're just performing for an audience, purely performative, and like it's. And the influence is gonna show up there because like they might get a couple like follows or whatever,
yep.
And be able to sell somebody some dick pills or whatever the hell else influencers are hawking right now on the right wing media space. It's whatever. It's just like we live in a world where you got to monetize friggin' everything now, and now it's like there's a new avenue. Like which has the ability like to possibly get you a little bit more monetized as long as you can ride that presidential dick. So that's what we got going.
All right, so Zeke put in LOL at the pills. Listen, this is one of my biggest hangups right here, that if you ever watch right-wing media, you consume any of that slop, you will notice very quickly that all the ads for right-wing media are alpha brain supplements, dick pills, prepper gear, gold and silver coins, crypto scams, stuff that you sell to idiots. That's what all of right-wing media, all of their content is peppered with these ads. People who sell this shit know our target audience are brainless suckers, morons just who can't give away their money fast enough, and they know exactly where to find them, and it's right-wing content. I'm so glad you brought that up, EK. That's one of my favorite points here. All right, so there's one more influencer here. I saved him for last. I actually didn't know this guy, like Trump. I've actually never heard of him, but I had to share this part because this is my absolute favorite one here.
Indulge me in a quick round of Trump trolling or Trump truthing.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, good.
Love it.
Rapid fire. Greenland joining America.
Definitely Trump truthing.
Becoming a 51st state.
Trump truthing all the way. And the Canadians would benefit greatly, let me tell you that.
Eliminating the IRS?
I think that is an optimistic goal, and the president, so I would say we're on the side of truthing there for sure. And the president, again, wants to see tax cuts, and he wants to see this massive revenue that we can gain from tariffs as well, which will create the external revenue service. So that's a definitive goal for sure.
And most importantly, Trump 2028.
Trump trolling, although the hats are flying off the shelves.
All right. So that guy, he's a content creator named Brendan Dilly. I'm not sure. Have you guys seen him before?
I recognize his face, but he looks like so many of the people that are in my comments that I can't maybe.
He does. He's got the trucker in the shades ranting about something that scares him when he makes a video vibe going for him. All right. I didn't know this guy, but I found a clip of something that he shared a few years ago. I think it was during the George Floyd riots. These are the type of people that the president of the United States thinks is okay to bring up to the White House. Let's see what his previous content was like.
So you better pray to God, and I mean this literally, or whoever the fuck it is you pray to, okay? That Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and Attorney General Barr clean this up lawfully. Because if for any reason the President of the United States feels that it's not getting done the way it should and decides to put out the tweet that says, my fellow Americans, my fellow 2A loving Americans, it's time to take up arms against these assholes, you are all fucked in under an hour. Under 1 hour, you're done. Every one of you. We're all just at home, hanging out, or we're on vacation like me right now, watching you idiots behave the way you do, waiting for that one tweet, that one emergency text message from the fucking President of the United States that gives us the green light to finish this entire thing in under an hour. It will not be law enforcement. It will not be one of these slow, bureaucratic justice system wheels of justice turning. It'll be a group of people you didn't even know fucking existed because we were at our houses, we got off work, we were with our families, but we were ready for that call. And if that call ever does come, you will be fucked 7 ways from Sunday.
All right, John, we'll go to you first. Stand up citizen right there. Love his content.
Yeah, no, that makes me want to, beat him to death with my bare hands. Like, it's just like, he's like, guys, wouldn't it be so cool if we were there on Kristallnacht?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, why would you want to be there on Kristallnacht? That was a terrible time for everyone involved. Oh no, it was so much fun for the people killing all the fucking Jews. Like that's what this guy's very literally just like giddy about. The idea of going around with his gun and murdering innocent people. And that's, as you said, that's the type of person being put on the White House press floor. Don Luca, as I said, he shared child exploitation videos, imagery. I don't know this picture, whatever the fuck it was. QAnon, a conspiracy theorist, Pizzagate guy. Like, these are the people. Tim Pool, literal Russian propagandist.
Yeah.
I'm not against having non-legacy media members join the White House press room. I generally think that's a good idea. But these ain't the fucking guys. Like, even if you want to say, like, bring on Ben Shapiro for fuck's sake. Like, you know what I mean? Like at least that would have the tiniest bit of legitimacy. He's literally going for the worst possible conservative influencers to bring into the White House press room. I'm actually surprised Ben Shapiro didn't get an invite. I'm surprised he wasn't there. Or
he's anti-terror.
I really don't know what the case was. I don't know why he's going for the bottom of the barrel. Oh, if you, I don't know if you guys lost me there. I'm saying, I don't know why he's going for the bottom of the barrel conservative influencers. Were the other ones turning him down? Like, it's actually pretty embarrassing that these are the guys that he got to show up.
Well, you mentioned why he didn't bring Ben Shapiro, and I said that Shapiro is anti-tariff. He's been pretty vocal about how the tariffs are bad for the economy, so they may not want him around. But you're right. Even so, there are other right-wing influencers who have a modicum of respectability that you could bring, but these bottom feeders, honestly, like guys like half a step over our level, basically. And it's like, really, this is the best that you could do? That is kind of gross. And John, it's true. I guess I'm not annoyed by it. This is just how it is, where the right wing has been saying, the media is unfair. They're unfair to the president. We need more representation in media and stuff. That's not what they want, actually. They just want someone to come in there and lob softball questions like, why is everyone so mean to President Trump? Can you answer that, Miss Secretary? Like, it's insanity. What do you think, EK?
Like, first of all, why are we trying to manifest like the slaughter of millions of just innocent people? Like, why are we trying to manifest genocide? And shipping that out into the world, and like, it's a lot of people like this as well. Like, since my mom worked at the jail, she had several boyfriends, who were in some way affiliated with law enforcement. Like, one of her longest term boyfriends had a concealed carry permit. always carried his gun on him just in case something happens. Want to be in the thick of things, make sure things go like properly. I remember he was like helping me out, move into my college dorm. He had like his little anchor holster on there, like he was putting something up, like the pant legs raised up. Freaked the hell out of my roommate. Like, why is this dude packing? Like, and it's like because he had some fantasy in his head roaming around. And, oh, if things pop off, I'm gonna pull out. And I'm gonna, take care of business. And it's like, why are we always manifesting like these horrible ass? Like, why can't we manifest free food? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we manifest like people being provided for? Why are we manifesting like the slaughter of people who you have an ideological disagreement with? Like, and then it's like they didn't even do any checking into these people. They probably just looked at a follower count and, made sure one of them didn't have a take that went directly against Trump and was like, okay, cool. This dude got what? Like 100K on like some app or whatever. Fine. Go ahead. Send him an invite. We'll give him a question. Like, and there's going to be people that now, come and see that and they're going to agree like, oh yeah, that's going to be me. It's probably going to be you using like that actual weapon of war on yourself like 2 years later when these terrorists have like completely decimated your city and fucked over your job and you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. Male suicide rate. Why are we not manifesting that going in the right direction?
I think Colby has a good answer with the conservatives. I think Keegan Tatum has talked about how conservatives always live in a constant fight or flight, and that's why they're constantly fantasizing about murdering people in the name of heroism. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And it's kind of a chicken or egg thing. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the studies about your brain and that conservatives have enlarged amygdalas that controls your fear response and everything like that. And it's not all biological. It's cultural and your nurture and how you're raised and everything. But it is true that the more scared you are, the more conservative you become. That's for all of us. There is a direct correlation between the two. The example I like to give on that is that if the building is on fire, I do not give a fuck about misgendering you. Okay. I don't care at all. All right. We need to get you out of the building, sir or ma'am. Who cares? Get out of the fucking building. And that's how conservatives are constantly living, is that society is on the verge of collapse any day now. And they've isolated certain segments of the population who are the problem. Suspiciously, it's never like rich politicians on the right side of the aisle. It's always the weakest members of society. It's always minorities. It's always immigrants. It's always single moms. It's always gay people or trans folks. The lower you are on the social economic ladder, the more likely you are to be a threat to their survival. And that's how they live their lives. So I think that's absolutely true.
And to follow up on that, TJ, not only is it that they're constantly afraid of everything, the reason that it's always the weakest members of society is because they're also cowards.
Yes.
They can they're fantasizing about going around with a gun and shooting a bunch of defenseless people, but like they would never pull up for a fist fight against like Brock Lesnar. Like there's no fucking way that's ever gonna happen. There's a reason why Trump is afraid to even invite someone like Ben Shapiro onto the White House press floor because he might ask a challenging question. Like these people are cowardly, and when you see them actually have to put up or shut up, they always fucking shut up because they don't actually like they claim to have all this bravado that they'll fight if it comes to the fight or flight response, but we all know what they'll really do. They will actually flee. That's why they have to present all this bravado. They have to be the big gorilla that's banging their chest to scare people away, or at least make people think that way. Because if it was actually to come to a fight, they're actually more of like a hissing goose. And they're not going to do much at all to you. But they will be scary about it.
Yeah, that's 100% the case. Oh shit, what was I gonna say?
Donald Trump and the people in power will fucking do shit to you. They will fucking kill a lot of people. I'm talking about the fucking video.
Yeah, that guy in the video, because when he was making that video, at the very end, he said, we all have guns and we're all waiting for the go ahead, the green light, the tweet from President Trump to say, take up arms and destroy the enemies. It's like, what's stopping you from doing that now?
Yeah.
Why are you waiting for a tweet? If it really is a
Yeah,
cataclysmic,
you little beta boy.
Exactly. Yeah.
You waiting for orders from daddy?
Exactly. Yeah. Come find us. And it's not hard. We show our names and our faces when we do this stuff. You know who we are, and you're not doing a goddamn thing about it. You're sitting up there kissing the ass of the most powerful person on the planet. Yeah. I don't know. It is a very cowardly exercise. There's nothing. This is like whenever I talk to people who are in the military, and in the military, like any other field, this is even more sinister when it comes to the military. A lot of people try to brag about their accomplishments in the military and how dangerous and how special their missions were and everything. I gotta really come on. Like, this is a 21st century military going up against illiterate, folks with Soviet era technology. There's nothing courageous about that. I'm sorry. Like, you guys are acting like you rolled into Normandy or something. Like, say what you want about the World War II veterans or whatever. There were even odds they would lose that war. Hitler could have won that war. That took fucking courage and bravery, right? It was a fair fight across the board, and the fate of the planet was on the hand. What risk were we taking there? Like, if we lost, what would happen? Nothing. You would go back home and everything would be exactly the same. So yeah, I got no patience for that whatsoever. Like, real courage exists, and you guys don't have it. It's not it.
Fear is a
100%
superpower.
correct, and I'm glad you said it and not me.
Yeah. Fuck out of here. You got a silver star. Very proud of you. Very, very proud of you for we're that whatever. I won't. That's another video. I'll make that video some other time.
EK, do you have something to say?
I just said fear is a superpower. Like, I actually have it tattooed on my arm.
Oh, there you go. Love it.
Yeah, here, I'll show you. I'll give you a.
Yeah, let's go. Tattoo reveal.
From an episode of Doctor Who. No, so like, I have a woman sitting on a bed. It's a mujer. So ilm is for the ilm and the MS-13. No. But no, so this particular this is weird trying to okay, it goes this way. All right, yeah. So no, it's
I see it. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
So it's basically like it's an episode of Doctor Who. I forget what season, but it was the Peter Capaldi Doctor Who, where because we always talk about how people use fear to influence people. It usually involves some like fascism stuff, but like there's also like, when you're afraid, you can run faster, you can like jump higher, you can kind of slow down time when you're trying to act, because that like that response. But it's also where courage comes from. Like, you can do the thing that you're scared shitless of. Like, you can change your viewpoint, that you've believed in for your entire life, and you've like been presented with evidence that counters it, and you're like, hey, you know what, I was actually wrong about that. Like, or you can like you can make actual good effective change. So I put that there to sort of like remember that, like that you got to do the thing that you're scared shitless of, like to actually be courageous. It's the other side, but people don't want to do the courageous thing. They want to stay in in the fear that is manipulating them to not do the courageous thing.
Yeah, no one wants to be the first person to fight the gorilla. No one wants to be number one.
I'm not fighting no gorilla.
All right. Well, thank you very much for making it to the end of this episode of The Left Wing with returning guest EK Powell. He hasn't been here for a while. You might not even recognize him. So, EK, if people want to know where to find you, where can they do it?
It's going to be at What's Good English. That is on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. Been burned out for a while, so no new videos, but my old stuff is still pretty good. And eventually I'll make some new stuff.
We appreciate it, EK. Thank you for joining us. Folks, we want to let you know that tonight's episode is brought to you by Scott's Burgers in Bixby, Oklahoma, the restaurant we wish Luigi Mangione would have eaten at instead of McDonald's, because, as Scott has told us before, there are no rats in this kitchen. Catch you guys later. All right, good stuff.